Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 13 of Season 5 of the F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back once more. Obviously, if you missed out last week's video from the British Grand Prix, definitely want to go back and check out quite a few interesting storylines heading out of Silverstone. I won't give too many spoilers just yet, but of course there will be spoilers in just a moment. A big thank you to all of you guys as well for the continued support on the channel at the moment. If you're not already, make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well for more Formula 1 2020 content coming to the channel over the coming weeks and months. You know, we're trying to get back into it a whole lot more as we head in towards the summer. But yeah, like I said, if you haven't checked out last video, there will be spoilers around about now. So that is your last warning to go back and check it out. But yeah, some major news, both on track and off track last weekend. Obviously, we've had even more driver transfers. The first ever time we've had mid-season driver transfers in this career mode there. But a torrid week out for 212 Motorsport there. Probably one of our worst weekends since Season 1. Max Verstappen came through for 12th. We came through in P15 as we watched our main championship rivals Mercedes 1-2 and Pierre Gasly in P3 there as well. It means that our gap at the top still opened up quite nicely at 67 points at the moment. But George Russell even I should say, now up into third place. They're only 10 behind our teammate Max Verstappen there. Gasly only another 7 behind him as well. And Bottas now finally starting to get some points on the board as well, up into P5 on 70 points, tied with Esteban Ocon there. But yeah, a lot still to play for as we are technically in the second half of the season. I always sort of say after Belgium onwards is really, you know, sort of the second half of the World Championships. But heading to Hungary though this weekend, I don't think we've seen any more major upgrades from other teams. We unfortunately have had a part failure. The DRS activation mechanism has not gone onto the car, so we're going to need to do that once more as we head into this weekend. That should be ready for the Belgian Grand Prix. We might as well try to get another couple of upgrades on the car there. Obviously the engine is still completely maxed out, but we might need some aero and chassis upgrades ready for the second half of the World Championship there. So we're going to go with... Oh, how mediocre is our chassis now? We're down in, what, 6th place there on the chassis side of things. So we definitely need a couple of upgrades on that side of things. So we'll go with 2 upgrades there, the heave dampers and the cable assembly, and then we'll get another aero upgrade on the car as well. So we'll probably go with the front wing gurney flap as well. So that should hopefully bring us more in line with Mercedes once again at the top of the championship. You know, it's very much a performance race between the two of us at the moment, but that's enough of the intro. Let's dive in then here to the Hungarian Grand Prix. Here we are then, qualifying day for the Hungarian Grand Prix, and if last weekend was a bit of a struggle for the team, this one is probably going to be even worse. Not a track that I'm particularly great at on F1 2020, as I always say, and yeah, not really a track either that's going to suit our car's characteristics. Obviously, we've still got quite a power-orientated car at the moment, and the Hungaroring is not a track that's particularly power-hungry, so yeah, things might get a bit interesting this weekend as we try to get the power out of the first couple of corners. Obviously, straight out into Q2 this session, but yeah, hopefully we can try and sneak through into Q3, ideally on the one set of the tyres. So of course, straight out on the softs, I don't even think it's worth trying to waste our time with the mediums there, as we actually go purple through Sector 1. You are allowed to get away with a little bit of curb use through the exit of Turn 4 there. You're allowed all 4 wheels over that first line of curbs this weekend as we head through the chicane. All nice and tidy so far. Heading down in towards Sector 3 though. We're not normally as strong in this final sector of the lap, but hopefully we can keep it all clean and tidy. A little bit deep in towards the penultimate corner even, I should say. That's been a horrible run through the final turn as well, but hopefully we're going to get a good slingshot run on the exit there. Or the exit curb is going to be a 12-1. And that leaves us down in 11th place at the end of our first run. Plenty of time to find, but not what we needed at all. Like I said, this is a track where the AI tend to be incredibly overpowered at as well, so it's never one that... I mean, generally on race day we've been quite lucky around here, but yeah, qualifying has never been my strong point here around the Hungaroring. If we could sneak through into Q3, I would be incredibly happy, but we are going to need quite a good dialed-in lap as we try to get the power down once more out of the first couple of turns. Dropping back a little bit of time, but we just need to keep it clean and tidy over the course of this lap. Heading down in towards the final sector. We're about 2/10 up at the moment, but hopefully we can just find a little bit more time by keeping it clean in through the final couple of turns. The tyres definitely feel like they're starting to go off just a little bit at the moment. There you can see we're about 3/10 up as we round the final corner. Where is that going to leave us there at 11.8? Is it going to be enough for Q3? Yes, it is. 6th place at the end there. Very, very happy with that one. Rather worryingly. A long way off the top then at the end of Q2 there. You can see 1,000th of a second quicker than Valtteri Bottas there, so rather happy with that. But yeah, Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen and George Russell, your top 3 at the end of Q2. Both AlphaTauris 4th and 5th, ever looking consistent as well from those guys. And you can see, yeah, 5 different cars from 5 different teams making up your bottom 5 at the end of Q2 there. Ocon, Sainz, Guan Yu Zhou, Norris, Stroll and Raikkonen all miss out on Q3 there. Let's dive into it. One chance. Let's see if we can get it anywhere near pole. It's not going to happen. George Russell is in a league of his own. Like I said, that we have only got one shot to try and make this Q3 lap count, so we cannot afford any mistakes if we want to get anywhere up ahead of 10th placer. I think Hamilton's currently in 9th on a 12.0, so everyone incredibly quick at this stage of the weekend here. Yeah, it's probably going to be another tough one for ourselves, but hopefully we can get this lap nice and tidy, try and get ourselves, you know, I'd love to think we could still get top 6, top 5 at the end of Q3 here. But yeah, like I said, it's really going to require a lap that is on the limit, clean, tidy, quick and careful. All of those important things when you're trying to get the most out of a qualifying lap. That is a lot of curb through turn 4, but we get away with it. I don't think we really gained anything there, to be honest, with the back end getting a little bit unstable. Could be so eager on the throttle on the exit as we head through Sector 2. Really trying to open up the exit of the chicane as much as you dare. Obviously, this track often described as Monaco without the barriers, so it's all about trying to make it as wide as possible if you want to find the time. As that was a good run down in towards Sector 3, but looking pretty tidy at the moment. Just need to keep it clean, no wheel spin in through the final couple of corners. Just no locking up as well as you try and get as close to that inside drain. Back end tries to kick out just a little bit as we head through the final turn of the lap. What is the time going to be up towards the start-finish line? It's going to be an 11.6. So we have brought it out right when it mattered. Where is it going to leave us? 6th place. I'll take that happily enough.
All ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Russell, Bottas and Pierre Gasly. Well, that wraps up qualifying, but don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
Well, there we go then, the end of qualifying, and it is George Russell on pole position there, like everyone knew. He's been in the 110s every session. No one else has even got near there. That's just how quick he's been so far this weekend. Bottas in P2 ahead of Gasly and Max Verstappen there, but honestly, I don't think more than 11.6 was going to be what we were capable of. We might just have got Charles Leclerc if we absolutely nailed the lap. But yeah, really at the moment, we're 2nd or 3rd fastest team this weekend. I think AlphaTauri have got a very, very quick package underneath them with all the aero upgrades they've done as well. But yeah, let's dive in then here, ready for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
It's race day in Budapest as we get ready for another round of the Formula One World Championship. We don't expect too many retirements at this track. There are plenty of current and former drivers with flawless finish rates here. In particular, Ralf Schumacher. He made it across the line in all 10 of his Hungarian Grand Prix starts. We're northeast of Budapest for the race today at the 2.7-mile Hungaroring circuit. 14 corners here, 8 to the right and 6 to the left, on a track where downforce is king and passing is notoriously difficult. And as always, a man with plenty of racing experience joins me in the commentary box. Today it's Anthony Davidson. Tell me, Ant, you're no stranger to surviving the melee of turn 1. So how do you keep out of trouble when there's so much going on around you?
There are 3 main things to worry about there, Crofty. Positioning, awareness and discipline. First, you have to put your car in a bit of space and make sure you have room to react to what the others are doing. Then you have to watch your mirrors and listen to the sounds around you to get a sense of where everyone is. And finally, just don't get too greedy. Just because a gap exists doesn't always mean you should go for it.
With the race minutes away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. George Russell did very well in qualifying yesterday and will start today's race from pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Gasly, Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, Mr. Monaco, Kvyat, Albon, Perez, and Lewis Hamilton, Ocon, Sainz, and Guan Yu Zhou, and Norris, Stroll, Raikkonen, Nicholas Latifi, and Nobuharu Matsushita. De Vries, Giovinazzi, King, and Kevin Magnussen fills the last spot on the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
Okay, let's see if we can push for a top 10 finishing position today.
Normally, I give Jeff a lot of stick for recommending a top 10 finishing position in the race today, but this weekend that seems a little bit more sensible and realistic than normal. But here we are then, ready on the grid for round 13 of the season, a two-stop strategy here today. The game was saying about how obviously safety cars and reliability are pretty good around here. We've seen quite a lot of safety cars in the My Team career mode around this circuit, so maybe today is going to be another one of those days. But we need a good clean start. Maybe, just maybe, we can try and move up the order. Obviously, so difficult to overtake around here. Maybe we can try and park the bus if we can make a couple of moves work early on. But waiting on the 5 red lights then. 5 red lights, and it is lights out. And away we go for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Trying to avoid the wheel spin despite getting in 5th gear there. So that has not been a good start. As we head down in towards turn 1, Albon's going to go for a big old send up the inside of both Alpha Tauris. The Ferrari of Leclerc and Sergio Perez there. So in all of that, we've only lost 1 spot. But Gasly's gone backwards. Kvyat's moved forward there, as well as Albon, who's gone for, well, you don't often see dive bombs pay off that well in towards someone. There is Gasly, all very, very slow as he battles with his teammate out of the first sector there, up in towards turn 4, hooking up right around the outside. Use a lot of curb on the exit, but it is lap 1. The FIA will probably let us get away with that one, and yes, they have. So we have held on to our grid position off the start of this Grand Prix. But yeah, Kvyat and Albon just in front of us, clearly being brave at the start of the Grand Prix. They've both got a lot to prove to try and keep hold of their seats at the moment. But yeah, we hold on to P6. As I think, yeah, Max Verstappen therefore up into P3 at the start. Is he going to be able to challenge Mercedes this weekend like we attempted to do last week? I think, yeah, Mercedes, though, we need the upgrades to come to the car sooner rather than later. Trying to play the long game in this race at the moment as we want to try and keep good nick of our tyres early on. We've got to think about the bigger picture as well. You know, we cannot afford to have another weekend like Silverstone where we throw absolutely everything at it to try and stick for as many points as possible, end up in a collision with Pierre Gasly, who is now just sat behind us, and walk away with nothing. I feel like this season's starting to look a bit like Brawn's back in 2009 for us, where we had the quickest car by a lot early on. Obviously, he had such a run of form in the first 10 races of the World Championship, and now everyone else has seemingly caught up, and we've just got to try and hold on to the big gap we had. Still trying to close down Kvyat, the gap holding fairly level. I must admit as well, psychologically, it's such a weird thing to have a look at the car in front and just know when he's pulling away lap after lap and really thinking there isn't much we can do about it. The car just doesn't have enough pace at the moment. You can see Kvyat's basically doubled that gap in the last 2 laps here. Gasly's applying more and more pressure to us, and really, yeah, I feel like there is nothing we can do at this stage of the day. The car just simply isn't quick enough at this stage of the World Championship around a track like this. Verstappen seems to be able to hang on in there at the moment. He's up still in P3, not losing too much to the Mercedes, but yeah, nothing at our disposal at the moment to overcome the deficit. We've just got to be patient and wait for the new upgrades. Look at that, lap 6, Gasly's got a big run on us down towards turn 1. Nothing, again, that we can do. Try and defend from that from Pierre Gasly. We can try and look back around the outside through the first corner, but no, look, we've just got no grip relative to Pierre Gasly there. Goes clean up the inside. We've got no way of maintaining any momentum around the outside there, and we might need to pit quite soon as well in this Grand Prix because we are just struggling so much on these soft tyres. See already by the end of lap 6 just how far Gasly's pulled away, and I did really want to pit then, but Verstappen unfortunately has obviously got the priority call at this stage of the day, so he is into the pit lane, so we're going to have to go one more lap. Here, can we defend from Sergio Perez? The Renault, not the fastest car down the straights as well, so luckily we defend, live to fight another day as we're up to P4. Both Mercedes and Danny Kvyat still out in front of us. Got yellow flags out down in Sector 1. It's one of the Ferraris. I think it might be Lewis Hamilton out of the Hungarian Grand Prix there. One of his most successful tracks in Formula 1. And unfortunately, just his second outing for Ferrari, it has ended up very, very premature there. We're just lap 7 of this Grand Prix. And Hamilton, yeah, out. Unfortunately for us, no safety car that might have been able to move us up through the order a bit there. As I think it is George Russell who has also made the pit stop here. Into the pits we come. Where is the marker? There it is. I don't know why I suddenly got it so badly wrong into the pit lane, but yeah, we might be a little bit vulnerable then to Sergio Perez behind us. The tyre warning light had just come on as well. Luckily, we're pretty far down the pit lane. Can we start ahead of both of these guys? We need a clean, tidy stop. 1.9 seconds. Thank you very much, and that will give us a bit of breathing room from Sergio Perez behind us. And we're going to come back out, though, down in 19th. Bit of traffic in front now. Maybe we can use that to our advantage. Gasly trying to look up the inside of Jordan King in towards the final couple of corners of lap 8 there. And look at that, he has pulled off the move. Can we go right around the outside of our former teammate? Yes, we can. Thank you very much. So we're up another spot as well as we head through the final corner. No one else into the pit lane, though, at the end of that one. I think if they have, they've already come back out. Must have been, yeah, the guys at the front of the field there. But Gasly very much stuck in this traffic there as we watch Perez behind try to make a move on Jordan King. So King's, yeah, lost 3 places in 4 corners in this race. So not ideal for the Alfa Romeo man, as we might try to look around the outside of Gasly down the hill. And yeah, look how much grip these new tyres are giving us. Now we can fight again. See ya later, Pierre Gasly. Getting stuck behind Giovinazzi on the apex. Maybe now we can move past the Williams as well around the next couple of corners. If we can get past him before all the S's, that would be good. Side by side up the hill in towards the next chicane. And we will slam that all shut. Thank you very much, Giovinazzi. Up into 16th. And the outside of Magnussen. Make the same move we did to Jordan King a lap ago. Oh, back in. Tried to kick out a little bit that time round. Just maybe getting a little bit too comfortable on this new set of mediums. But that is another place made up. Hopefully now we can get a run on Matsushita. Back down in towards turn 1. We are gaining in on the Alfa Romeo man. Big lunge up the inside. Yes, we do. 14th place here in the Hungarian Grand Prix once again. But this has given the guys that stayed out or managed to get out in front of these guys such a big advantage in this race. As look as Nick de Vries just sat in the middle of turn 2 there. The Haas man struggling a bit more with his grip and tyres at the moment. So we actually go purple through sector 1, having a look to the outside of Nick de Vries up the hill. He gives us a big old squeeze, but we do find the room. Use a little bit of overtake mode, get cleanly ahead before the chicane, and up into 13th. But definitely feeling a lot more comfortable on these mediums than we did on the softs at the start of the Grand Prix. And I think there's still, yeah, look at that, one of the Williams still out here causing a little bit of a train behind him. I think that must be Giovinazzi in this Grand Prix as well, so he's doing a bit of a worldie for us at the moment. There's actually, yeah, Verstappen as well, caught in this little group, as well as Esteban, no, not Esteban Ocon, it must be Kimi Räikkönen, who's stayed out since the start here. So yeah, 3 of these cars we are still technically trying to battle with towards the end of the Grand Prix. As I've noticed, Kvyat's actually on a set of the hard tyres, so not quite sure what AlphaTauri are doing there. But yeah, maybe, just maybe, we can try and make some more moves.
To shift up through the gears earlier, they think it'll save fuel.
Practically pushing Albon through the final couple of corners of lap 12. Can we get a big run on the exit though? Let's just wait and see as we try and use all our DRS down in towards turn 1 there. The Red Bull, not a slow car down the straights anymore. Have a look up the inside though. Trying not to run to the back of Danny Kvyat, and we have pulled off another move. So I've got no idea what net place we're up to at the moment. I think it's only a Mercedes that are out clear in front of this pack, as Kvyat there a little bit parked on the apex through turn 2. Maybe we'll do the same thing we did to Albon at the end of the lap. Oh, come on, Kvyat. Gotta get on with it a bit, mate. I could understand if you were completely wedged under our teammate's rear wing, but he isn't just yet. There is Albon. Try to have a bit of a sneak back at the inside through the final corner. Can we get a bit of a run on the AlphaTauri? He's got incredible traction out of the final corner, but up the inside we go on Danny Kvyat, and we are now behind our teammate Max Verstappen in this Grand Prix here. Maybe now in a battle for net P3, and the slower traffic has absolutely carried us at the moment there, as once again Kvyat tries to have a bit of a look. Can we get a run down the hill? Oh, Verstappen really struggling for momentum out of the next turn. But still not quite able to find anything just yet. Oh, around the outside perhaps? Maybe? He gives us the room. Could we pull it off? New strategy on the MFD. Verstappen gives us the space so we do get clean around the outside. So I think, yeah, now we're up to net P3 of this Grand Prix when everything starts to simmer down once more. But Mercedes are a long way out in front. What is the new strat? Nothing, basically. I've got to try and get a good run on Kimi Räikkönen as we head out of the final corner there. I don't know why Räikkönen's still got a seat at this stage of his career. I honestly thought he was going to be out when I saw all of the mid-season transfers, but down around the outside in towards turn 1. Should be able to hook that move up. Yes, we can. And we're now up into 9th. I say we're up into 9th. Yeah, big run on the T4U. Sits in the middle of the road there as you try to have a look around the outside in towards turn 4. And up into 8th we go. That's exactly what we needed. Now we've got a bit of clear air in front of us. Hopefully we can use to our advantage. Russell back into the pit lane there, so I'm not too sure what's going on at Mercedes in terms of the strategy. Did he do a double soft stint or something? Whatever he's done, he's now going to be stuck in a lot of traffic for a few laps, unless he can slice his way through. And things, yeah, looking rather good for us out of nowhere, as Bottas still in front, stuck in a queue. Maybe things are going to go our way, or maybe, I'm looking at the Red Bull out in front, that is Esteban Ocon. Perhaps this is all shaping up nicely for him. We'll go a few more cars into the pit lane. That is going to be Guan Yu Zhou, Sainz and Ocon in this race, so they might be trying to get right the way to the end of this Grand Prix now. They are going to come out in a bit of traffic though, which helps us out. Yeah, Bottas now only 3 seconds in front, but are we about to see the other two pit and Bottas romp away? Well, the first half of my prediction is true then. Both the Racing Point and the McLaren are into the pit lane. But are we going to see Valtteri Bottas romp away? That is the real question. The gap 2 seconds as we cross over the halfway stage of this race. Oh, Bottas really swings the back end out of that Mercedes at the final couple of corners as we head on to lap 20. And yeah, I think the answer to the second part of that question, was he going to romp away, is going to be no, as we have a look at the inside in towards turn 1 there. He still tries to turn in on me, even though I was quite clearly in there. But yeah, Bottas on the hards though, so I don't know if he's still trying to get to the end of the race or what. But out of nowhere, we lead the Hungarian Grand Prix. Is this race falling into place for us? Have we somehow found something on these mediums? Or are we just getting a bit lucky with other teams not perfecting their strategy and other drivers not being brave enough in the traffic? There we go, lap 22, Verstappen is into the pit lane there, so he's going to try and get to the end of the Grand Prix, I'm presuming, on another set of the medium compound tyres. I'll be honest though, these mediums feel great at this stage of the day. Russell's on a set of mediums as well, so I'm intrigued to know whether he's trying to get to the end. But Bottas, Kvyat and Ocon I all think might be. I did really consider whether we might try and be able to get onto the softs to the end of the Grand Prix, but I just don't think it's worth risking it with how they were in the first half of this race. Oh, again, I've missed the mark completely on the way into the pit lane there, braking far too early, as well as the fact, you know, we've got 13 laps to try and close back up the gap to the top runners here. I think we should come out between the Force Indias, if I'm not mistaken here, and yeah, then hopefully we can really try and just get our head down and put some good laps in. 2.7 is a bit tardy by the team, but saying that, I think we might actually come out ahead of Guan Yu Zhou, which is rather ideal as we head back down onto the racetrack. Yes, we have a good few seconds clear actually of Guan Yu Zhou, and now we've got to try and close back up the gap to Ocon. 8.5 seconds to the newly appointed Red Bull man. Are we going to be able to take some time out of him? Oh, there we go, new fastest lap of the Grand Prix with just 11 laps to go here from the Hungaroring, and we are taking a good consistent 2 seconds a lap out of the guys in front of us. 13.1 clear of Verstappen as well, who seems to once again be stuck in even more midfield traffic here, and this is just one of the things that's really separated us from the rest of the pack today. We've not been afraid to make the moves. You've got to go for some dives around the Hungaroring, and the AI just don't seem to be willing to. All over the back of Esteban Ocon as well. He takes a bit of sausage curb on the way up into the chicane. Right around the outside we go as Ocon there very early on the brakes. And look at that, a move out of nowhere in towards the middle sector. That is absolutely key that we don't get stuck behind Ocon for very long at all. About to start lap 30 then of this Russian Grand Prix? Hungarian Grand Prix, Matt. That was yesterday in the McLaren RTG. And these two I'm a little bit worried about trying to get around because Kvyat's got a very quick car down the straights, and Russell's obviously getting the DRS from. You can see the gap 0.3 of a second as we head back down towards turn 1, but it isn't really coming down in towards the first corner there. We can't hook up the run around the outside on the exit of the corner as well. So unless Russell can try and get a run on Danny Kvyat there as all. Russell braking way earlier than I was expecting. Kvyat locks up, and it has actually enabled us to almost get a bit of a run as we head down the hill there. We almost lost our front wing running into the back of George Russell. As Kvyat really struggling, I think, on those hard tyres. Can we try and get a run on George Russell? No, we cannot once more. Yes, we can even. That was not a move I had in mind, but again, Kvyat broke way too early. And a bit of an apology to George Russell. I'm sure I've just been swiftly taken off his Christmas card list. That was a bit of an accidental send, but a send that has been completed. Now, we need to try and get past Danny Kvyat in towards T1. Through the final turn. Come on, Danny Kvyat. Let's just have it, buddy. Don't fight it too much. We're on different strategies. I don't think... Oh, no, there we go. As soon as I say that, Kvyat jinks to the inside. Will we be able to get later on the brakes than the Russian driver? Having a look around the outside. It's been a brilliant weekend from Kvyat so far. But unfortunately, we're going to have to relegate him down into P3. Maybe, just maybe, he can hold on to a podium. But 5 laps to go. The gap to Bottas still 6 seconds up the road. We need to push to the flag if we want this. 3 to go here from the Hungarian ring, and I don't think this one is over just yet. Looking at the way the gap's coming down, this could very, very much be a last lap decider between myself and Bottas, but we need to just keep hitting all our marks and really nailing in, basically just doing qualifying laps. Heading on to the final lap, though, of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I think it might just be a bit too little too late at the end of this one. I think the Mercedes raw pace is just about going to keep Bottas at the front of the field come the end of this Grand Prix. The gap's still over 2 seconds as we head into the final lap. And unfortunately, I think it is just not quite going to be enough at the end of this one, as I think Russell even tries to have a look past Danny Kvyat, and I think he might just have snatched the podium places away from Danny Kvyat right on the final lap of this Grand Prix there. So a heartbreak maybe for Danny Kvyat, who's going to drop back into P4 right at the end of this one. He's seen his teammate Pierre Gasly bag so many podiums with AlphaTauri so far, but unfortunately today is once again not going to be Danny Kvyat's day there, as that's not the line through the chicane there as well. But yeah, unfortunately for us, I mean, let's be fair, I'm going to be real with you guys. Before this Grand Prix, even early on in this Grand Prix, I thought maybe we can sort of sneak away P6, P5. I'd be quite happy with that. I never thought we've had no right to be in the battle for the race victory today. We should have never, ever been able to split the Mercedes at the end of this one as well. But we've given it our absolute all at the end of the day. We're bringing home another 19 points, which is pretty important as well there. Bottas isn't really a title threat at the moment. Through the final corner, it's our first P2 of the year.
Top job, my friend, top job. I was a bit worried about this one at the start of the weekend, but you've pulled through. Thank you.
It's a performance to be proud of today from our Hungarian Grand Prix winners. Tell me, Ant, how did they manage to achieve this win?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team, and they certainly deserve it. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Mr. Monaco increases their championship lead. So, Anthony Davidson, who would you rank as your driver of the day?
Lance Stroll certainly put in an impressive performance today. No doubt his team and fans are extremely proud.
It's time to see how things are shaping up in the Constructors' Championship. No change in the top spot, but with today's points, their hold on the lead is getting weaker. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. And with that, we wrap up another weekend of motorsport. But with more races lined up, be sure to join us when we come back with more Formula One.
Well, there we are then, guys, the end of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and it is another race victory for Valtteri Bottas there. I say another race victory. It's his first race victory of the year so far for Valtteri Bottas, so finally starting to get to grooves with the Mercedes car there as well. We split the marks, though, in P2. Unfortunately, our teammate Verstappen nabbed the fastest lap off us at the end of that one. But yeah, George Russell P3 from pole position. I'm sure he's a bit gutted with that. But yeah, Valtteri Bottas made the one-stop work there. The same can be said, actually, for Kvyat, Ocon even, Guan Yu Zhou and Lance Stroll, all making big places there. As yeah, Guan Yu Zhou and Stroll getting some good points for a racing point as well there. Verstappen 8th ahead of Sainz and Albon, rounding out your top 10 there. Gasly, who's been so consistent all year, not having a good weekend, down in 11th place here. You can see the rest of your finishers as well further down the field. Championship-wise, though, it means the gap actually tied now between Verstappen and George Russell in P2. They're 80 points behind at this stage of the season. There, Gasly now 102 back, still ahead of Valtteri Bottas there in 5th place. Kvyat, with that good result, gets the jump on Sergio Perez. Alexander Albon. Perez still in 10th by himself. Sainz gets the jump on Hamilton as well, just behind them there, 41 to 40 points as well there. And those are the only movers drivers championship-wise. Constructors, Mercedes still ahead of AlphaTauri. They bring the gap down to just 145 points as we now sit on the 400-point mark as well there. Renault jump McLaren 80 now to 76 as Ferrari still in 8th place there as well. Williams still one ahead of Alfa Romeo and Haas as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we will definitely be back very, very soon. Round 14 of the season, we head to the Belgian Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss it. A big thank you to our channel members for making these videos possible. You can be featured in these end clips as well as granted access to some other exclusive perks for just £1 a month by clicking the join button below.